Welcome back, Queen, to another episode of the Creatress of Freedom podcast. I am Annie and I'm your host. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you have decided to tune in to today's juicy episode. If you are an OG, welcome back, Queen. You know I love you and I'm so happy that you are here. So let's get started into this juicy, there's really no other word for it. Like, this is totally a topic of juiciness. Juicy, wet, fire. Like, I see water flicking everywhere. So I'm super excited because we have an incredible guest speaker who has been in my space for a very long time, actually. We have been in masterminds together and we've connected on a much deeper level. We've done retreats together, and it's been so beautiful to witness the evolution of this beautiful queen, honestly. And just this version of who she is, like, I'm super excited to bring her in today to have this deep, deep conversation because her message and her branding and her vision that she has for women in particular is something that needs to be talked about. So I'm super happy and so honored to have this beautiful babe who not only is here today with me sharing her magic, but has also came in to evolve and done a beautiful embodiment practice and a teaching with the women inside Evolve. So after that session, I said to her, we're going to continue this conversation. More people need to hear about you and your work. So come on in, babe. Hey, Ash. Hello,
Hello.
hello, hello.
I'm so excited to be here. I love our energy. I always love dropping in with you. I feel like today is going to be like so profound, not only for the audience, but for us as well, because there's
For
just going to
sure.
be some straight, juicy, sexy, orgasmic riffing going on.
Yeah, 100%. Amen. Mic drop, sister. Mic drop. And I mean, when someone has a brand that's name is the sacred slut, I mean, like, can we just start with that? Like, wow. How did this even come about? Tell us a little bit about this brand that you've created.
Uh, I don't even know where to begin, honestly. This is definitely a new reclamation for me. I just
Mm-hmm.
claimed this brand on Instagram a few weeks ago. It had been in my field for a while. My brand before was the Sparkle Slut, and she was like my muse. She was an initiation into the Sacred Slut. The Sacred Slut is very anchored in her sexuality, in her sensuality, in her sovereignty, in her pleasure, and it all comes from a place of self and doing it for herself. Like it's really embodied. It's not performative. And not that it was before when I was in Sparkle Slut, but Sparkle Slut was like more of like this playful maiden.
Mm-hmm.
I used to party a lot. My brand came to life when I was still like deep in my substance abuse and party girl. So I would go out on the town and wear a bunch of sparkles and bedazzle people, and it was so magnetic in that way. But it was true for me at the time. But now that I'm 7 months sober today, actually,
Mm-hmm.
from alcohol and
Congrats.
cocaine and nicotine, thank you so much. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the further I get away from alcohol and substances, the closer I get to myself. And I've also been on a
Mm-hmm.
deep sensual embodiment journey that's been it's such a huge part of my brand. It's such a huge part of my sobriety journey and my healing and my becoming. And it's like the more I get in my body, it's like the juicier life gets and the more I really own my desires. And that's really
Mm-hmm.
what a slut is, right?
Mm-hmm.
really want to redefine the term slut because it has
Mm-hmm.
a horrible stigma around it. And if you look at
Yeah.
like, the ancient terms and roles of the slut, has nothing to do with what our society has coined that phrase to be. The sluts,
Mm-hmm.
they were priestesses, they were goddesses, they were worshipped. Like the men brought them offerings. They were literally praised upon and worshipped upon for being in their sensual energy, which is your power as a woman. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, the world we live in, like if
Mm-hmm.
been taking away women's power through horrible derogatory terms like that. And so women are really afraid to not only claim their sexuality and claim their sensuality, but also claim their desires and really dream big and own that they want to be fucking rich as fuck and own that they want to have really orgasmic sexual sacred experiences. But
Mm,
we water ourselves down because of the projection and the shame that we receive from the outside world. And so my brand, The Sacred Slut, is really here to dismantle all of that and
mm,
take us back to the beginning and the root of where and when the sluts and the goddesses and even the whores and the prostitutes, like
mhm, mhm,
they were not these bad shameful things. They were holy. They were reverent. And it's a remembrance and a reclamation for us women to
mhm.
come back into oneness with our sexual and our sensual energy, which again is our greatest superpower.
Yeah. Oh, I loved all of that. Oh my goodness. And I do want to back up to the word slut because I know even for myself, and if some of the audience have been listening to my episodes and have been on my journey, I grew up in a very strict religious household. And so the word slut is like even now I've like done a lot of healing work around it. There still is like a little bit of a contraction within my body, even hearing it and even saying it. Like it's like this little inner voice that's like, oh, that's a bad word, you're not supposed to say that. And so I really would love to like hear your perspective on, for anybody that maybe is listening to this episode, they're clearly, if they're listening to it, they're open, right? And there's a part of them that's curious. And I think that this is the key. As long as we have the curiosity to at least be open to whatever it is, I think is the key to healing, right? So for someone that's maybe listening to this episode and is like, what are we were like 7 minutes in and they're like, oh, I don't know if this episode's for me. This might feel a bit too much. I don't know, like the word slut, like,
Ruined
oh,
my life.
yeah, literally. I know. Bye, Queen. See you later. Episode not for you. But what would you be saying to that woman that is, maybe feeling like, all right, I want to get down with this, but like, oh, it's an edge. Like it's an edge, and I don't know if I'm there yet to like continue listening to this conversation.
Yeah, yeah. That's such an amazing question. Like, thank you for asking that. And also, like, let's just bring a little bit of like playful innocence to it. Because the truth is,
Mm-hmm.
like, we're all sluts for something, right? Like, maybe you're a slut
Mm-hmm.
for puppies. Maybe you're a slut for a juicy burger or a piece of pizza or watching a sunset. Like, it doesn't have to be this sexual, erotic thing that we
Mm-hmm.
were taught that being a slut is only around sex and
Sex.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
your power away or having sex with a lot of people, which also
Yeah.
is a bad thing. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
only creates shame when when you're having a lot of sex or having sex with people from a place of disempowerment. But if you
Mm-hmm.
go and have sex and be in your pleasure and it's coming from a place of like I'm doing this for me and I'm not doing it for anyone else, like go
Mm-hmm.
off, queen. Like go get your needs met. Like you
Mm-hmm.
go get that pussy wet. But again,
Mm-hmm.
really, what are you a slut for? What are your deepest, juiciest desires that have nothing to do
Mm-hmm.
with sex?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
really start pondering on that. And I actually have a shirt that says we're all sluts for something on the back. And people love that shit because it's a
Mm-hmm.
conversation starter. And like
Yeah.
the way that we really take shame out of something is by talking about it and bringing it to the
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah,
reason
for
we steal
sure.
the shame is we don't talk about it or we try to hide or we shame ourselves and we
Mm-hmm.
suppress whatever it is we're experiencing or we're feeling or we're desiring. But really, if you talk about it and you bring it to the light, you're going to notice that there's going to be a lot more fun, light conversations around it, whether it's around sex, whether it's around money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are the two things that we're taught to not talk about, right? That it's
Mm-hmm.
bad to talk about are money and sex. When really, like the
Yeah.
people who are the most in their sexual and sensual power and who make the most wealth are the people who talk about money and wealth and sex.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so true. So true. There's no stigma around it. There's no shame around it.
Mm.
With since you've started this work, like because I feel like even when your brand was still Sparkle Slut, there still was this piece of like sensuality, right? And so yes, obviously now it's like evolved into the sacred slut. But since you've been doing this work, what do you feel is the number one thing that most women will bring to you? Is it the shame around it? Is it the conditioning around it? What is the thing that they're like, oh, like I want to, but XYZ?
Um, that is a really good question. Shame is definitely a huge
Mm,
thing. I
hmm.
don't even know if a lot of women consciously know that they're feeling shame around
Yeah,
it.
I would
But
agree.
the thing
Yeah.
that I hear the most and has also been my story is I'm afraid of my own power.
Mm, hmm.
And there's a lot of women who there's just this little whisper inside of them that tells them this is bad and this is wrong. And also, by you doing this, you're going to tap into a new level of power. And we know when we tap into a new level of power, even if you're not like in the spiritual conscious space, but like,
Hmm.
you have more status, more money,
Hmm.
more power, more responsibility, that can oftentimes create friction in relationships, whether it's with
Mm,
a partner or with friendships. Like, people get jealous or men get controlling, and then we get scared that, ooh, if I'm in my power, it's actually not safe to be in my power, because then I'm
mm,
going to be abandoned.
mm, hmm.
Right? And
Yeah.
change is already hard enough. Like,
Mm,
go through so much change, and we feel a lot of rejection in the human experience. So it's like, if we can control this one thing of not feeling more rejected, of not feeling
hmm.
more abandoned, then why
Yeah.
would we step into our power by connecting to our greatest power source, which is
Hmm.
sexuality?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I feel like you answered that beautifully. And I 100% agree with you. It is ultimately it is the fear of the power that we step into, which then we don't no one wants to be left behind, no one wants to be judged, no one wants to be talked about. The minute that you start to step into your power more and more, people it's going to trigger other people because they wish they could do it too. So it's part of the growth and part of the journey. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, that it starts with the shame because it's the surface level, but really like when we unravel it, it's
Mhm.
actually so much deeper than that. Yeah, I love
It
that.
is. And God, like, for anyone who's like, yeah, I am afraid of my own power, like, I see you. Annie sees you. We
Yeah.
get it. We have been on this journey of
Mm,
entrepreneurship and really stepping into our gifts and owning our power. And I have to say, like, there's both sides. Like, yes, there are going to be people in your life who fall away, who get jealous, who want to compete with you, who aren't going to be happy for your success, who aren't going to
hmm.
want to see you in your shine. But with
Hmm.
that, like, you are going to gain relationships and friendships and
Yeah.
opportunities and wealth that is far beyond exceeds the reality that you were experiencing before, because the reality of what you were experiencing before actually wasn't your fullest truth. So
Mm.
therefore, you were attracting people who were okay with you not being
Mirroring that. Yeah.
authenticity, right?
Mm.
But now, when you are owning your authentic power, your pleasure, whatever it is for you, you will start to magnetize. That's just how energy and law of
Hmm.
attraction
Hmm.
works. I've
Yeah.
noticed it within my own life. Like, I have so many amazing women in my life who are like, dream bigger, go off, queen, make that
Yeah.
fucking money. How much money did you make today? Like, let's amplify,
Hmm.
let's celebrate. And that really does get to open up for you when you start to own your power, but you have to be okay with the both. And like, there's going
Hmm.
to be loss, and there's also going to be a gain that is far
Hmm.
beyond what your human mind can even comprehend. But it's a journey. It's a journey
Mm.
to be able to get there and own it. But don't ever deny yourself your power, because it's going to unlock so much for you,
Mm.
that you
Hmm.
are like on the edge of your seat. Like, you're like, I can taste it, but then you keep pulling yourself back.
Yeah.
And I have just noticed for me that sensuality has been the gateway to like everything that I have been looking for outside of myself.
Mm, mm. What does sensuality look like for you in this season that you're in at the moment? Because I feel like, we can all have our own definition of what sensuality means and looks like. But for you, where you're at right now, what does that look like for you?
Well, I'm really lucky. I have a community here in Austin, a few different communities actually. I started going to Big Pussy Energy, which I think you've been
Been
to.
to that class, yes. So good.
I started going January 1st. I've
Hmm.
been every week basically since the beginning of this year, sometimes twice a week. And I actually got certified to be an instructor. It is a modality
Hmm.
where we believe that a woman's power lies inside of her body, particularly
Hmm.
in the places that we shy away from, which is mainly our sexuality and our sensuality. Right. So
Hmm.
that space, that community really opened up so much for me. And I've tried to go the sensuality route before when I was working with other mentors, and it did not work out for so many reasons. One, the mentors that I was working with at the time were not in integrity. And
Hmm.
two, I was also not sober at the time. So it was very much coming.
Mm. Would have been a very different experience.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was coming
Hmm.
from a place of deep performance. I was posting
Yeah.
so many videos on my story of
Hmm.
me dancing in my mirror, but I was like drunk or high or both. And it was
Hmm.
like, look at me, look at me, look at me. So now
Yeah.
it's so much different. And I've created my own branded spark or sacred slut seduction practice where you really get to tap into your desires. But, you know, people might be sitting here thinking like, well, I don't have communities like that.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
nothing like that in my town or in my hometown, in my city. You can literally go in front of the mirror and just start moving your hips. As a woman, our sacral chakra, yes, is like this place of creation and death
Hmm.
and rebirth, but it's also a place where we hold a lot of emotion and
Hmm.
energy. So it's like the unraveling and the unwinding really helps you release that. Girl, shake your motherfucking ass, okay?
Hmm. Amen, sister.
Twerking was created for a reason,
Yeah.
okay? Get
Yeah,
that ass and
I
get that
agree.
cash, okay? That's what we're doing here. But it's also what I love about the womb space and the sacral is like it's also a place where our own unique codes are stored,
Hmm.
right? Each woman
Hmm.
lineage has their own codes. And so if you're like, oh, I'm not tapped into my creativity, or I keep getting blocked, or I'm not in touch with my intuition, move your hips, get in front
Hmm.
of the mirror. Even if it's, one song a day to start off.
Yeah.
Like doing it naked is really powerful. But if you're like,
Hmm.
oh, I am not there yet, that's okay. Like,
Uh-huh.
put your
Yeah.
clothes. I am
Yeah.
where I am because I've been on this journey like of devotion for 7 months.
Hmm.
Like I didn't just wake up on January 1st and be like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
get sober, start praying and dance naked in front of my mirror. Like that's
Yeah.
not we build, we
Hmm.
slowly expand our nervous system to be able to do more, to hold more, to receive more. That's very similar to getting comfortable with your sensuality. um,
Hmm.
but like if you're like, well, I would love someone to guide me, I have a membership where you can come every Sunday and meet God through your body. It's called Sacred Slut Sunday Service. It's like it's a
Hmm.
place where we go to church in our body, because as women, God speaks to us through our body, specifically in our womb. And I have really anchored in that code from my own mentor, Sophia Del Porto. Um,
Hmm.
and it is so profound when you really get to meet your higher self and meet God through your body and experience truth in that way. So if you're needing a space and needing a community, Annie will share some links with
Yeah,
you
for sure.
so
Yeah,
that
check out the show notes. They'll be in the show
yeah,
notes.
so that you can find the community. But if you just need a place to start, just in front of your mirror, just
Hmm.
move your hips, like make some noises, use sound, add
Yeah.
touch, regulate through breath, regulate through touch, and just start small. And you will feel a shift. Maybe
Hmm.
not in one song, but if you do it a few days in a row, you're gonna notice your vibration, and it just creates
Hmm.
glow. Like people are always like, you are glowing, you are so magnetic. And I could be
Hmm.
having like it for myself, I could be feeling like
Yeah.
I'm having an off day, but to them,
Hmm.
because I'm
Yeah.
in my sensual power and I'm in my energy and I'm grounded,
Hmm.
you like it is truly the pathway to unlocking so much for you. And there's so many ways that you can start. It's just taking that first step to start, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like anything. And
Yeah.
then staying consistent with it, but then also not beating yourself up when you jump off the wagon as well. Because I think that sometimes, when we go and start creating new practices, I know this has kind of been a conversation that I've been having with Brie a lot here, where we're like, sometimes we get like so in our head about what our practices need to look like. And we're like, oh, it has to be like this 3 hour devotion. And I just don't have 3 hours. And oh, then you see someone on Instagram that's like, oh, my morning's like this and I don't do anything until midday. And it's like, oh, fuck, I work a full time job, or, I run a business. Like, I can't do that. And, I think sometimes we can get so caught up in that it has to be this big, extravagant practice when, like, yeah, there's a time and a place for those things and doing ceremonies and all of that. But ultimately, it can be just literally, like you said, just one song where you are just like, you would spend more time scrolling Instagram, babe. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, and also too, I'm so glad you said that. There's a lot of things that are coming through, but another thing around sensuality is it's really is based in the five senses, right?
Hmm.
Taste, sound, touch, taste, sound. What are the other ones? I'm
I
blanking.
don't know. I've gone blank.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all know what I mean, right?
You
Okay.
put me
So
on the
if
spot.
you're like, I don't feel like dancing today, because sometimes, like,
Yeah.
as a woman, like we're on our period and we're feeling
Hmm.
super low
Hmm.
energy. You can also activate your sensuality and get in touch with your sensual
Yeah.
energy in other ways. Like, even if it's just like eating a chocolate and like you're taking your time with it and you're
Mm.
just like eating it in a very slow, present, sensual way. Like, that's
Yeah.
what sensuality is. It's
Hmm.
being present. It's taking your time.
Hmm.
A lot of people think it's like really rooted only in sexuality, and that's like such a small flavor to
Yeah.
it.
I
You can
agree.
you can take feathers and just
Hmm.
apply them on your body, even your own touch,
Hmm.
really tap you into a sensual space, into a
Yeah.
sensual energy. And honestly, it's very grounding too.
Hmm.
Um, if you want to go in front of your mirror and just like put your fingers through your hair and just like it's almost like taking your time with yourself, like you would want
Hmm.
a partner to take
Yeah.
your time with you, and just really telling yourself that you're safe. Honestly, sometimes that is a great route to go before you start dancing, because a lot of women
Hmm.
aren't comfortable in their body. They don't feel safe in their own body. So starting with
Hmm.
really simple, slow,
Hmm.
sensual touch like this can kind
Yeah.
of be like a little bit of a stepping stone to go deeper.
Yeah. I think too, like the importance of clothing, like choosing your clothing that's going to make you feel like you can step into that feminine goddess vibe as well. Like I think that that even is something that I know, probably more so once I stepped out of the salon, because when I was in the salon, I just wore black all of the time. And my wardrobe didn't have any light stuff, no colored stuff. It was just all black. And then it was almost like once I stopped working in the salon, I cleared out my entire wardrobe and I was left with like four pieces of clothing because literally everything was black. And it felt like there was a huge ego death. Not only did I like dye my wardrobe, but like that chapter was so done. And then I started investing in different mentors, and I really wanted to start to come back home to myself. I chased everything that society had deemed was going to bring me some success and bring me the fulfillment and the happiness, and I got that. And then I was like, now what? Because I actually don't feel any different. And I burnt myself out along the way. So, like, something has to change. So that's when I started to invest in different mentors that were doing more of the inner work. And, I went on this, I think for a year there, it was like back to back of like, sacred sexuality. There was a different course that was called Feel. There was a different course that was called Expand. Like, it was just back to back. But so the theme of all of those containers was about like reconnecting back to yourself.
Hmm.
And I remember, just little little things that the mentor would say would be like, even just the way that you're brushing your teeth, like, what if you just actually became really intentional and looked in the mirror and like actually like seduced yourself in the mirror, looked at yourself in the mirror. And I found that really challenging, to tell you the truth, because I had so much body image dysmorphia stuff growing up as a teenager and even into my adult life, that I really struggled to love the body that I was in. And
Mhm.
so doing a lot of this work really helped me reconnect back to myself. And actually, sometimes a mirror was like not even the right thing, because I could pick my body apart
Yeah.
in a mirror versus like actually just closing my eyes. And I remember like starting these practices and like laying on my bed and like just feeling my body and being like, oh, wow, like I actually have a waist. Wow. Like I haven't felt that before, but guaranteed if I looked in the mirror, no fucking way would have I seen a waist. I would have like picked myself apart. So I think too, sometimes like getting rid of the mirror, if you're someone that like does struggle to reconnect with their body and has body image, I honestly could say nearly most women have some kind of body dysmorphia around their body. There's something they don't like, and so sometimes connecting with a mirror can be way too confronting, because your inner critic is like has a field day on it. So yeah, just even like I loved that idea where you're like just closing your eyes and just
Mhm.
touching your body, like just getting familiar. Like, how does your skin feel? How does your arm feel? What does your elbow feel like
Yeah.
you really connecting back with your body as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you said that, because like sometimes I forget that I'm like talking to people who are like, I've never gone this route before. What do you mean I'm supposed to look at myself in front of a mirror? Like I do
Yeah.
have body dysmorphia, or I hate myself some days, which is
Yeah.
like so normal. But like
Mm-hmm.
I do remember years ago when I started this journey, I had to start with my eyes closed because I just
Yeah.
go into straight
Same.
critique, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even now, even if even when I am confident looking in front of the mirror and witnessing myself, I'll still get distracted because my
Mm-hmm.
mind will start to think about like all of the things that I have to do, or like sometimes I will start to pick myself apart if I have like a
Mm-hmm.
pimple or something, or if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
feeling puffy. It's just part of
Mm-hmm.
being human, you know? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, close down your eyes. Closing your
Yeah.
eyes allows you, this is especially if you're dancing or in like just the touching energy, it just really drops you further into your body and further
Mm.
like deeper into the experience. um and that's where we really get to remember our power, because when our
Mm-hmm.
eyes are open, we're giving our power away to things, or we're
Yeah.
looking at other people for validation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When your
Yeah.
eyes are closed and you kind of like can kind of like tune out the outside world,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you really get to remember, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
here I am. That's what's there. Okay. Beautiful. Love
Mm-hmm.
that. So thank
Mm.
you for mentioning that, because it really is such a huge part of sensuality. It's really, especially the dancing piece, is like being present, being
Mm.
intentional, and
Mm-hmm.
slowing down is such a huge piece of sensuality. It's not going fast. The world is already
Yeah.
trying to get us to go fast. The world is already
Mm-hmm.
trying to get us to not feel, right? The faster we go, the less we feel. But when
Mm.
we slow down,
Exactly.
we can really be present. And sensuality
Mm.
is feeling, it's honoring, and it's also just being in such full acceptance of who you are and where you're at, and just really remembering that there's nothing to fix, there's nothing
Mm-hmm.
to change, like there's not a goal at the end. There's so
Yeah.
many different beautiful experiences that we get to have in a sensual practice and just being embodied in your sensual energy. But oftentimes it's just like being in full ownership of, okay, I'm feeling really shitty today, but like it's
Mm.
actually the most loving thing to do is to not try to fix or make it wrong, and just
Yeah.
accept it.
Hmm. Yeah. And why do you think that we are in a season in this lifetime where women need to start to come back to their sensuality? Why do you believe that that is important at this point in time?
Wow, how much time do we have? We live in a patriarchal world, and no one can deny that, except for
Yeah.
maybe a right? They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
Yeah.
no."
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, women
Hmm.
feel it. We
Yeah.
feel it in every area of our life, and there
Hmm.
is a underlying theme in almost every woman's life, especially the women who haven't tapped into their sensual
Yeah.
energy and who aren't
Hmm.
living in their sovereignty. There's a
Hmm.
theme of giving your power away,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Giving
100%.
your power
Hmm.
away to the job, to the money, to the
Hmm.
success, to the husband, to letting
Hmm.
him call all the shots, to
Yeah.
social media, right?
Hmm.
But when you start to embody your sensual energy and you remember your own power and you're really like locked in with your intuition and your own inner guidance and connected to God, you're like, actually, I know
Hmm.
what's best for
Yeah.
me. I
Hmm.
my voice unlocks. I'm able to speak truth,
Yeah.
speak boundaries. And when you're living in that space, you are truly living in your power. And a woman in her power is a force to be reckoned with. Like I truly
Hmm.
think that women can do anything. We are freaking priestesses. We are oracles. We can like
Yeah.
tap in so quick. We are so magnetic. And of
Hmm.
course, the patriarchy doesn't want us to be
Of
connected to our
course.
power because like we would take over the world.
We would rule the world. Exactly. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
And that's just been a huge, and I still find where I'm giving my power away. It's like
Hmm.
I'm
Same. Yeah.
ordering an
Same.
offer and I'm like constantly checking the email or the shares on
Hmm.
my Instagram reel. It's like, girl, you are giving your power away to this
Hmm.
post. Like hold
Yeah.
hold your sensual energy. Trust.
Hmm.
That's a huge part of this journey is trusting and surrendering, which I know is like such a freaking buzzword. But I can truly honestly say I've never been in such a deeper level of trust and surrender because of my sensual practice. And in my
Hmm.
sensual practice, I have met God and reconnected with God on my own terms and not from a religious standpoint.
Hmm.
Grew up Catholic like you, and there's
Yeah.
just so many things that I don't agree with. I think that having
Hmm.
a relationship with God is so important. It's honestly such a beautiful foundation for peace,
Hmm.
for certainty, for fulfillment. Because when you are co-creating with God, manifesting whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
you're doing it from a place of like of deep truth and love. Because to me,
Hmm.
that's what God is. It's
Hmm.
not control, it's not manipulation, but that's
Yeah.
again where we give our power away. And oftentimes we're giving our power away to things like religion.
Hmm. Yeah.
But when you're building a relationship with God on your own terms, like you are really in your power and in your truth and in your own knowing. And I think that is the sweet spot, the chef's kiss of where a woman gets to live.
Yeah. Amen to that, sister. Amen to that. I think the one thing that I want to just like re-anchor back in is that this is a journey and that there is no destination with this. And it's your sensuality practices are going to continue to evolve as you continue to evolve as well. And giving yourself permission for them to evolve as well. Because I know even in the spaces that women come into my world, it's like, well, this is what my routine used to look like, and like what, like now I'm not doing that, and then there's this guilt for like the routine not looking the way it used to. But it's like, no, like that once upon a time served you and the version that you were, and it's allowed to evolve and it's allowed to change as you continue to evolve and change. We just have to give ourselves permission for that evolution to continue as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, that was a conversation that we had
Yeah,
before.
before we hit record. Yeah.
And I love that it's coming up because not even just in your morning ritual or your
Yeah.
nighttime ritual, but just in your life as
Life. Yeah.
the feminine, especially if you're a leader. Like I was
Hmm.
looking at my vision board on my phone the other day, and I have like 4 different photos of things that I wanted to manifest this year. 2 of them I already have, and I'm kind of looking at some of the other things and I'm like, I don't know if those are true for me
Mm.
anymore. I'm
Mm-hmm.
7 months into the year. I'm a completely different person because of my
Yeah.
sobriety, because of my sensuality, because of my rebrand. And
Mm-hmm.
like, it's okay to evolve. Like, our soul wants to evolve. It
Yeah.
would actually be
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird if you wanted the same thing after year. And I think that's where a lot of women lack in their true feminine embodied leadership, is because they stay so rigid in their goals, and it's almost like our ego takes over of like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I have to
Mm-hmm.
have this thing and I have to do this
Mm.
thing because I said I was going to do it.
Yeah.
Is, yes, part of the word devotion, but so much of devotion is in the becoming. It's in the
Mm-hmm.
surrendering. It's in the trusting. It's in the feeling. It's not in the doing and the hustling and the goal achieving. And it's a really beautiful blend of your masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah.
Um, but devotion is also allowing yourself to stay true to your path, but a lot of that path is anchored in intuitive guidance, whether it's has to do with your long-term desires and goals,
Mm-hmm.
or waking up each morning and being like, well, I'm on my period and I don't feel like doing this thing.
Yeah.
Like, our we ebb and flow with our cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are non-negotiables that I do try to stick to for my morning ritual, but they also evolve as I evolve. I
Yeah.
had different
Mm-hmm.
non-negotiables that I had a month ago, but now that I'm in my new space and I'm reclaiming this new brand, like, my non-negotiables are different because
Yeah.
it feels good and it feels more in alignment and in truth
Mm-hmm.
with what my body wants from day to day and with where I'm going.
Mm. Yeah. Yes, I love that. And I love that you brought that back to like just life in general, just giving ourselves permission. And also, I think like giving ourselves permission for deciding that maybe the goal that we want to achieve is actually no longer the goal that we want to achieve anymore. I feel like in the online space, and I feel like this has kind of been a bit of a theme with even with other podcast guests that I've brought on, of this like kind of it's almost like we adopt somebody else's truth and it's like, oh well, that person's making 100K months, so that's what I have to do now. And so then all of a sudden you start trying to follow that blueprint, but in the meantime it wasn't actually what you wanted at all, but it's because there's so much noise that you think that that's what you want, and you try and chase it and it's not working, and you're like, what's going on, why is this not working? It's like, well, maybe that was never yours to chase to start with. And so, like, just really having these practices, I think, is so crucial because these are the moments where we get to reconnect back to our own truth and eliminate the noise. Because
Yeah.
there is so much noise, we can't escape the noise. Our phones are designed to keep us distracted.
Yeah.
So, like trying our best to create these practices where we are using that time intentionally and like you said around like devotion of like how can I come back to self and eliminate the noise to see
Mhm.
what is my truth for today, because
Yeah.
today could be different to tomorrow and it could be different to yesterday. So it's like, what is my truth for today? Yeah.
Totally. Wow, I'm so glad you brought that up because it was actually the embodiment practice that I guided you guys through, and I do it at my
Yeah.
events. I do it in my like one-off sessions. It's the sacred
Hmm.
trust induction. And it's really a space for you to tap into your desires. We
Yeah.
are so ingrained from ego, and especially in the coaching space or whatever industry you're in,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this
Yeah.
person's at the top. This is what
Hmm.
they're doing. I need to
Hmm.
not only do it this way, but
Yeah.
wow, well, their life looks really good, so I want that too.
Yeah.
That is maybe true for you, but what
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
oftentimes see when I guide women through this practice is they're like, that is so not true for me. It feels so icky in my body.
Yeah.
That was my mind playing tricks on
Hmm.
me. But my
Hmm.
truth is actually, it oftentimes it's something so simple, but
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
such a burning desire that they're like, but this is actually what I want the most, which is like, for me, it's like, I want my cowboy and I want a puppy, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
yes, the $100,000 months eventually,
Hmm.
but like, actually love and having a dog to me is like my deepest, juiciest desire right now. And
Hmm.
it's so simple, but we get so caught up in the ego.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you're someone who's resonating with this of like, I can't hit my goals or my dreams, or like I actually don't know what I want, or I keep flip-flopping, like, I encourage you to do a session with me because this is really
Hmm.
where you get to drop into truth. Your body will never lie to you. And your
Yeah,
deepest desires
100%.
that belong to you only are
Mm-hmm.
waiting for you to be claimed and to be
Mm-hmm.
thankful. Because
Yeah.
when you can fully claim it, like it's already yours. It's
Yeah.
in you for you. But if you don't know that it's in you, how are you ever going to
Yeah.
live that?
Bring it to life. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. I feel like, girl, we could like talk for hours and hours
Ah,
and hours. I mean, I feel like we could go into so many different like rabbit holes and yeah, but obviously like this has been the most incredible conversation and a very necessary conversation, I believe. And if you're listening to this episode, you also agree because you wouldn't have been attracted to this episode if you didn't somewhat agree with what we have discussed here. So, for the women that have been sitting on the fence and want to connect with you and maybe do some other work, like what, how can they find you, and what have you got on offer at the moment for those babes?
yeah, perfect. So my Instagram is Ashley.Capurro, just my first and last name. I just
Mhm.
changed it back after 2 years of being the Sparkle Slut. So I'm like catch myself sometimes telling people when they ask me what my handle is. But you can find me there. I know Annie will link it in the show notes. And I do have
Definitely.
some different offerings right now. One is a really high level one-on-one mentorship. It's a minimum of 6 months. And this is for the woman who's like, you've done the work. You've worked with
Hmm.
mentors before. You've done a lot of personal development. Maybe you've sat with plant medicine, but you're still like, I know there's something more. And this
Hmm.
is where you really get to come into self leadership. This is
Yeah.
not a container where I'm like telling you what to do per se.
Yeah.
This is really a container for you to go deeper with your sensuality and learn how to trust yourself through your body.
Mhm.
I'm guiding you. You are the lead.
Yeah.
You
I
are the
love
lead.
that.
Yes.
Powerful. Hmm.
Powerful. Um,
Hmm.
and then my second one is just one-off sessions you can do in
Hmm.
Zoom or you can on Zoom or you can do them in Austin if you
Okay.
I live
Love
in
that.
Austin.
Yeah.
Those are my branded sacred slut seduction where you really get to meet your truest, deepest, juiciest, most unapologetic desires in your body
Hmm.
and start to get into the energy of manifesting them. And then my last one is my monthly membership, which I mentioned a little bit earlier.
Hmm.
Slut Sunday service, where we go to church every Sunday, honey. Oh, you're gonna get some slutty sermons. We're gonna meet God, some truth transmissions. So it's such a good container. And my best friend Sophia actually does sound activations every month, depending on the theme, where
Hmm.
she clears distortion around that theme. It's a
Hmm.
beautiful, beautiful blend of power and medicine woman that you get in that space as well.
I love them. I love them all. They sound so juicy. Like I love that you've catered for, the woman that maybe wants like a bit more of a group support, but then also that woman that's like, no, fuck that. Like I'm in. I'm all in. Like let's go. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Amazing. Well, you'll be able to find everything connected with Ash in the show notes. So head below and you'll find everything there. If you would love to get your hands on the embodiment practice that she was talking about earlier, then here is your invitation to come and join us inside Evolve because it is open for any of the women that are existing, any of the new women that come through as well. And you'll find all of the information around Evolve there too in the show notes. If you have any questions about Evolve, if you've been listening to these episodes, you will have heard me talk so much about Evolve. It is my sacred container that goes for 12 months, and it really is about a deep, deep self discovery journey, and we tap into all areas. So, sacred sexuality, womb healing, spiritual, activating your spiritual psychic abilities, like healing, all of it. It's like this beautiful combination of really coming home to yourself at the end of the day. So, if you're interested in finding out any of that, head to the show notes, or you can come and send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. So, babe, thank you so much for joining me today. It was an absolute honor to have this conversation and to have you on. And thank you for pouring your medicine and just also being super real with your own story as well, because I know that, so many people. can see ourselves in our own story when we do share that. So thank you so much for sharing that with these women that are listening today. I appreciate you so much, and I'll talk with you soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Bye.